And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump.
She's talking about a formal deprogramming. That means at the hands of the government. And that is what they do in North Korea. That is what happened to the South Vietnamese.
But I really need everyone to spare me the faux outrage and the pearl clutching about this. The leader of the Democratic Party, so that would be Joe Biden, was facing 4 indictments with 91 felony counts. He had been found liable of sexually assaulting a woman and defaming her. That's E. Jean Carroll. And when you see those interviews of Trump supporters outside of the rallies, they're like, none of this is true. It's the big lie. He won the election, et cetera. And you wouldn't say to me, you guys are in a cult? It's actually tame.
Damn!
At this point, the Jessica Tarlov highlight reel is going to rival that of Lionel Messi.
From the point here, which is that Donald Trump was indicted in 4 jurisdictions around this country by juries of regular Americans in New York, in D.C., in Atlanta, and in South Florida, where he calls home.
On this week's episode of Hypocrisy Unearthed, Jessica Tarlov was forced to sit amongst her co-hosts from Fox News Defy and listen to their fake outrage over comments that Hillary Clinton made in regards to Trump supporters.
Very strong partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
Those same people that are convinced that a billionaire who goes to the bathroom on a golden toilet is one of the people, and that every single indictment waged against him is nothing but fake news, and that he's a Christian man, despite the fact that he cannot cite one verse from the Bible.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. I'm wondering what 1 or 2 of your most favorite Bible verses are, and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it, because to me that's very personal. When I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me.
Are you an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal.
And the thing is, they're upset because Hillary Clinton called out the obvious, that if it looks like a cult and it smells like a cult, it's probably a cult.
What is that?
That's best president of the United States.
All right, that's Donald Trump with his mugshot, right? It says never surrender.
Never surrender.
Okay, that is a picture of him surrendering to Georgia authorities, though, right?
Fair. He's the best president of America.
Okay, but that literally is a picture of him surrendering, right?
Yes.
Okay.
After a few minutes of listening to the ear-scorching from her incoherent co-hosts,
we have to be able to call people names. We have to be able to like things without fear of retribution or reprogramming. And she has shown her hand. That is what she wants to do, because she has lost the war. She has lost the ideas. And now she's going after a person who is so compromised, he's beating the living daylight out of someone who is supposedly accomplished. He's accomplished at turning his own party and good Americans away from him.
No one on the Republican Party side has called for the silencing of newspapers and social media
Fake
conversation.
News. He ran.
Excuse me, I'm asking Jesse a question. Okay? No one on the Republican side has said, do not let anyone talk about Hunter's laptop. Make sure that the conservatives get suppressed on social media. I mean, this is consistent with the whole idea of silencing Americans if they don't agree with the left.
Jessica Tarlov took her time and she offered the perfect rebuttal.
But I really need everyone to spare me the faux outrage and the pearl clutching about this. A little collection of things that Donald Trump and high-ranking Republicans call liberals on a daily basis: anarchists, anti-American, deranged, communists, corrupt, compromised, groomers and perverts, thugs and traitors. Now, she was explicit that she was talking about a subsection of the Republican Party the same way that Joe Biden is when he talks about these MAGA extremism. But you tell me, if the leader of the Democratic Party, so that would be Joe Biden, was facing 4 indictments with 91 felony counts. He had been found liable of sexually assaulting a woman and defaming her. That's E. Jean Carroll. Guilty of fraud, sharing the nation's secrets, not only in the Mar-a-Lago indictment, but there was a report yesterday from ABC News that he had shared information about our nuclear submarine capacities with an Australian billionaire who's a member at Mar-a-Lago, who had then gone on and shared that with dozens of other people. Ended up making a purchase, I think, of 3 subs. It included specifics up to how many nuclear warheads they carry and how close they can get to Russian subs without being detected. And then I told you, so all of that is happening, and he's shooting up in the polls. And when you see those interviews of Trump supporters outside of the rallies, they're like, none of this is true. It's the big lie. He won the election, et cetera. And you wouldn't say to me, you guys are in a cult? It's actually tame, what Hillary Clinton was saying.
She's absolutely right. These are the same people that lost their complete and utter mind over Barack Obama wearing a tan suit. And they have the unmitigated gall to sit there and pretend that comments made by Hillary Clinton towards a group of people that would chant "lock her up" on the daily, the same people who turn a blind eye to 91 indictments and counting.
President of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, it's at least indictments. Let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets, 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.